What is up, guys? It's your boy James, aka Triple J 755, aka DC's Batman the Ride James, and today we're going to do something a little different today. 3 years ago, wow, has it really been that long already? I'm going to die. Don't!
Shut up! Don't be silly.
3 years ago, I made a top 15 coasters list back when I had 100 credits exactly. Not only have I ridden 75 new ones in the past 3 seasons, I was able to get re-rides on many of my previously ridden coasters and got a better understanding of them. With the bigger pool of coasters to work with, I shall expand the main list from 15 to 25. There we go. Much better. As you can see, roller coasters are a big part of my life. And while I do see the best in almost each and every one of them, some of them are bound to be amongst the best ones. And so that's what we're going to take a look at today. This list only includes coasters that are currently operational as of when I'm recording this video. Sorry, Kinaka and Volcano Blast Coaster. Nothing personal, it's just that I've said everything that needs to be said about you two. Before we begin, just a disclaimer, these are my personal rankings. Everyone's entitled to their opinions, and feel free to rearrange these coasters any way you see fit, or throw it out and make a complete new one. I encourage you to make your own rankings. If everyone's rankings were the same, why share them? As long as everyone's respectful, we'll have a good time. Also, this isn't and will never be the final day of judgment. Any of these rankings could change at any minute, but generally the best of the best will be at the top. One more thing. In honor of when I said that Super Duper Looper is at Six Flags Magic Mountain, I put one piece of misinformation in this video. See if you can find it. And without further ado, let's dive into my top 25 coasters as of the end of 2025 Anno Domini. Just barely making the cut is Flash Vertical Velocity at Six Flags Great Adventure. This is basically my dream shuttle coaster. There are several launches to get the ride going, a really good double down, especially in the front going backwards, and awesome inversions. One thing that makes this coaster influential in my 2025 season was when Jay and I had to rush to get to this coaster first during our April trip to the park, and we ended up getting second train of the day. We got there in a flash, if you will. Couldn't even make it past the first entry without a bad joke. Number 24 is a wild card, Grizzly at King's Dominion. In August, I was very impressed with this coaster, especially for its airtime, throwing you out of your seat everywhere. Not to mention you're deep in the woods, which always adds a layer to fun to winning coasters. The first drop is really good, and then you get to what we call the nap, which is a very slow turnaround, so you take a nap. I hope you enjoyed your rest, because you won't be able to for the rest of the ride. Grizzly is a coaster that has really improved in the past few years, and I'm happy to have it back in my top 25. Number Wild Fuck 2023 is Alpengeist at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. Currently my favorite inverted coaster by Bolliger Mabyard. Why? It's at a grander scale that I haven't seen from many of the others. The lift hill being themed to skiing is a great touch, followed by a really long drop, followed by many forceful inversions, including my favorite Cobra Roll. The whole ride really feels like you're rushing through the snowy mountains, and is just one of the incredible coasters at Busch Gardens. Number 22 is Steel Curtain at Kennywood. After riding this 6 times back in September, I can confirm the fun this coaster has. I like all 9 inversions, my favorite possibly being the 0G stall over the path, plus the airtime hill on top of that is quite good. In just one ride, you twist and turn in so many ways. I rank this above Flash Vertical Velocity because while Flash is really fun, it's a shorter ride plus has vest restraints, whereas Steel Curtain provides a freedom of lap bars, which really adds to the fun for this football-themed coaster. Number 9 plus 10 is Rapterra at King's Dominion. Ever since I rode it a week before opening, I always enjoyed my rides on Rapterra. It gets started with a very fun launch underneath some rock arches, followed by a tilted top hat pointing you to the sky, big inversions, and really nice turns over the path. As for the bumpiness, hot take, but I like it. It's a bird. Birds flap their wings, right? The theming from the queue line to the ride is excellently done. The Flight of Fear building is somewhat of an eyesore, but that's not Raptera's fault. Overall, Volcanoes Replacing gets a solid A from me. Starting the top 20 is Steel Force at Dorney Park. Steel Force is a very fun and intense hyper by D.H. Morgan. It starts with a decent drop and airtime hill, but instead of a simpler turnaround, you're treated to a very big double helix, which can easily make you gray out, while you have great views of the scenery around you. You then hit the mid-course brake run, followed by very pointy airtime hills that deliver several moments of ejector. Steel Force is absolutely the crown jewel of Dorney Park. Number 19 is Nitro at Six Flags Great Adventure. This and Steel Force start with large hills, followed by intense helix, then smaller airtime hills to conclude the ride. But Nitro has a more open-air feel provided by those lovely B&M Hyper trains, designed for comfort, but also to really experience the sky. But while it's big and intense, it's not nauseating, so you could ride it even after eating, assuming you didn't eat 3 Chipotle burritos prior to riding. It's a must-do at Great Adventure. Number 18 is an unusual pick for top 25s, but hear me out as we talk about Vortex at Canada's Wonderland. Yes, this beats coasters like Yukon Striker at the same park. I enjoy Yukon Striker, of course, but Vortex's intensity is something to admire. You start with the lift hill bringing you to the top of Wonder Mountain. Take a look around before things get crazy. You then gather some really impressive speed going through tight turns that immediately push your car to one side or another. If you thought the fun stopped at the brakes, not quite. Especially in the front car, the train's remaining momentum is pushed to the side, bringing you and other riders almost 90 degrees sideways. An incredibly fun but probably unintentional finale. I hope I can return to this park eventually so I can get more rides on Vortex. Take time to appreciate it as the aero suspended coaster becomes increasingly rare. Uh-oh, Richard Zimmerman is getting a little hungry. Number 17 is Behemoth, also at Canada's Wonderland. This ranks similarly to Nitro, but the staggered seating is really interesting and a train type that I wish was more common on this model ride. As a result, the train is longer, so in the back you get dragged down drops a little more than on Nitro. It's a fairly long ride with lots of airtime hills plus quite an interesting twister section. The fact that it's only the second best B&M of the park is crazy, because it's already quite good, even with an occasional trim break. If Volcano the Blast Coaster were still operating, this is where it would have been placed. Motherfucker! Number 16 is for Bolton at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. I honestly did not expect this to rank this high before my trip. It's an incredible coaster that launches you into the darkness. You're speeding everywhere, not knowing where you're going. But the craziest part of the ride is better if you don't know what it is, so please skip to whatever time is on screen to avoid spoilers. You stop somewhere, and boom! You've fallen victim to the coaster's drop track. Not only is it quite scary,
That was a good drop.
it adds to the theme, as if you're falling from tree branches. Take a listen to my first reaction to this element. The conclusion is also nice with the view of the river. If this was the best coaster of Busch Gardens, it would still be a very fine lineup of coasters. But we may talk about another coaster here very soon.
I'm not sure when exactly.
Number 15, Burger King Foot Lettuce. I'm sorry, I've been wanting to say that for a long time. Number 15 is Ravine Fire 2 at Waldameer Park, my most ridden coaster of all time. RF2 is everything a modern wooden coaster should be, and more. It has intense turns, plenty of airtime, and large drops. Not to mention the bridge over Peninsula Drive, which also has its own moments of airtime. Taking a look at Lake Erie from the lift hill is also one of my favorite things to do on the ride. This coaster is more non-stop than for Bolton, which is why I ranked it higher. Nothing personal, of course. 17 years and 63 rides later, I still can't get enough of its wooden coaster power. If King Dakar were still operating, this is where it would have been placed. Number 14 is Leviathan at Canada's Wonderland. There may be some bias in this ranking because it was my 100th coaster cred, but even if it wasn't, its first drop would still be one of my favorite drops of all time. You feel like you're falling forever, followed by the train flattening out on the ground, leading to positive G-forces that pretty much guarantee a gray out. Who says B&Ms are boring and mild? The rest of the ride is an epic flight over the entrance of the park, not to mention a forceful turnaround. Leviathan is brilliant for B&M's first 300 footer and makes me more excited to one day try Fury 325 or Orion. Number 13 is Phoenix at Knoebels. Why is this coaster from the 1940s ranked higher than Kingda Ka, Leviathan, or Fire 2? Well, the magic in Phoenix lies in its minimalist restraint system. So while it's not an enormous coaster, you feel close to 100% of the force from every drop. The lack of seatbelts and existence of just one single position lap bar make every hill a delight. Off-ride, you can actually see a wave of people floating up as they reach the top of a hill. Knoebels is already a really awesome park, but Phoenix makes it certain that I will return there one day. Roughly halfway done now, number 12 is Millennium Force at Cedar Point. Yes, the original Giga Coaster still passes the test of time. It has everything Leviathan has, but more of it. It starts with incredible views, a good drop, then overbank turns and airtime hills take turns impressing the riders with its powerful force. I don't understand why there are some enthusiasts who call this Millennium Forceless. I just don't get it. Its sustained positive G-forces and several seconds of airtime on its big hills really impress me and just barely give it the edge over Phoenix in my rankings. And to quote the ride operators, if you're afraid of heights, whoops. Number 11 is a Triple J classic, Storm Runner at HersheyPark. I may have experienced that launch 24 times, but it gets me every time. I mean, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Look at these photographs. The launch is about half the speed and length of Kingda Ka's, but Storm Runner more than makes up the difference with unique elements, such as the top hat with a decent amount of airtime. Afterwards, you rush through impressive inversions which feel fast, crazy, and exciting. It's a short ride, but goes above Millennium Force just barely because I think there's more packed into it with the little time it has to impress its riders. The fact that this missed my top 10 is so frustrating. But what did make the top 10 is Alpenferry at Canada's Wonderland. I would rank it higher if I got more rides on it to gather more appreciation of it, but the two rides I did get were dreamlike. Alpenferry has so much going on, such as 2 LSM launches to get the ride started, an inversion as soon as you pop out of Wonder Mountain, and 8 more that are thrown at me almost faster than my brain can register them, plus airtime. During inversions, the variety of elements is top tier, and I'm trying to return to Canada as soon as possible to get more rides on the country's best coaster. Number 9 is Gemini. Number 9 is Candemonium at HersheyPark. Now, I know what everyone's thinking seeing this.
Candemonium.
So that would mean that Candemonium is the second best roller coaster at HersheyPark.
And according to him, the best B&M. I don't see Skyrush on this list.
I don't see Skyrush.
So, what's going on?
Don't worry, Skyrush is and always will be a crazy coaster, but I've always had more comfortable rides on Candemonium. Despite not being as long as Nitro or Behemoth, nor as tall as Leviathan, this B&M Hyper brings unique elements such as the hammerhead turnaround, which isn't found on the earlier ones. Of course, Hypers are famous for having airtime, and there's plenty of that on Candemonium, with the first drop being a very notable element, making your rides either safe even if you've been stapled. Not to mention most hills afterwards, which seem to be more powerful than other B&M Hypers I've ridden, my favorite of which is Speed Hill. The trim brakes are a common critique, but the ride as is will always make the HersheyPark happy, so they're not worth complaining about. Number 8 is another Hyper, Phantom's Revenge at Kennywood. Why is this above Candemonium? Well, for one thing, Kennywood sucks. Both are really fun hypercoasters, but Phantom's Revenge adds an additional layer of intensity. It has not one, but 2 big drops. The first giving you a view of the park, while the second dives you down the valley with Thunderbolt above you. We also can't forget about the ejector hills to help the second half of the ride, ending only at the brake run. One ride just doesn't feel enough to really experience this masterpiece. It really goes above and beyond. The Yinzers have a very scary coaster nearby. Number 7 is Twisted Timbers at King's Dominion, the coaster that turned me into enthusiast back in 2019. This is filled with lots of airtime moments just like Phantom's Revenge, but it has more of it throughout its layout, as well as 3 really good inversions, my favorite of which is the barrel roll drop in the front car. The theming is also a big bonus. How many coasters out there are themed to a farm? Apparently here it works great. Theming of course isn't a deal breaker, but it helps. As well as that, those 3 back-to-back camelback hills are absolute cinema. Each ride on this is as good as the last one on my very first RMC. Number 6, 7, God damn it, rain department! Number 6 is El Toro at Six Flags Great Adventure. El Toro started this year as a top 2 coaster, but unfortunately it's slipping a little bit due to its roughness. However, the layer that makes an elite coaster is still certainly there. It has incredible first drop, which if you sit in the back makes you accelerate while still turning after the lift hill. Then the several camelback hills maintain the top tier wooden coaster energy that this coaster is built to do. Followed by the famous Rolling Thunder hill, goes without saying. Followed by a twister segment, which is like the bowl trying to toss you off. I think this part could be even better if the train had more speed through the segment, but as is, I still enjoyed my newest rides on this coaster. Starting the top 5 is the new Pantheon at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, an incredibly fun multi-launch coaster. Every inversion is built perfectly throughout the ride, and there's fun to be found literally everywhere, from the first launch into the zero-G roll, as well as the off-axis airtime hill giving you great views of the river and pushing your thighs into your lap bar. And of course, no discussion about Pantheon is complete without the switch track. The brief backwards segment is really fun. How many other times do you experience backwards airtime? And then you go into the spike. Then you launch even faster, just barely clearing the top hat, which scares me during Man by Ride, thinking we're not going to make it. Pantheon is a very creative coaster, and you also can't miss night rides on it, but any time of the day is a good time to conquer Pantheon. We have another coaster starting with PANTH for number 4, which of course is Pantherian at King's Dominion. I used to think Twisted Timbers was better, but in the past year and a half, I've got an appreciation for what Pantherian can do. You fall down 300 feet, which is actually one of the least significant parts of the ride compared to what happens next. To think a turn, of all things, is one of the craziest parts of a coaster anywhere. It's almost impossible to not gray out on this segment. The rest of the layout consists of quick transitions from left to right, a brief break with 2 airtime hills, and the action concludes with a few more turns into the brake run. The transitions could be a bit uncomfortable when the coaster's running fast, but whatever. The fact that this coaster is even legal is incredible. Ever since I was a kid, Pantherian was known as the final boss of coaster fears. Once you ride it, you can ride anything. We have now reached the podium, and taking the bronze is Wildcat's Revenge at HersheyPark. It's often close to Pantherian, but I think this goes ahead because of its wider variety of elements. Every second of Wildcat's Revenge is packed with thrill. My favorite elements being the drop after the underflip, the zero-G stall, the zero-G rolls, but especially the last few airtime hills that really try to kill you. You won't die, of course, but it's an incredible ride through and through. Even before the lift hill, I always take delight with the track taking dips out of the station, which is just a sample of what you're about to experience. Taking the silver medal is Maverick at Cedar Point. This coaster is not only visually beautiful, but the scene and ride work together to create an experience that really combines the best elements of many other coasters I've been on. If you also want an intense experience, you've come to the right place. Maverick has 2 fun launches, especially the second one. Like, holy cow! How is an LSM that good, especially at night? To this day, Maverick is one of my favorite night rides because you can't see anything during the second launch. There's also a crazy airtime hill that I really love, a beyond vertical jump, and transitions from left to right like Pantherian. You know, the more I talk about Maverick, the more I realize this would be an excellent candidate for my first place. It's very close, but not quite there. We will certainly get to that one very soon. But first, here are a few honorable mentions. And there you have it. All of these are great coasters, and 25 isn't quite enough to explore all the fun. But now for the big winner, the best of the best that I've experienced. You know it, you love it. Any second now, here it is, my number 1 coaster. Are you ready? Here it comes. Flight deck at Kennywood. Okay, I can't even joke about this one. That coaster sucks. How's it still around? Okay, sorry about that interruption. Continuing on with the first place ceremony, we'd like to welcome Mind Eraser Six Flags Darien Lake. Woohoo! What do you mean, what? It's been tradition that we always do some joke number ones when I do videos like this. You should know that by now. But we're only going to do 2 today. Let's waste no more time and talk about the real winner. Fiesta Express at Fun for All Family Entertainment Center. This coaster goes around 3 times. Therefore, it's 3 times as good as Maverick. How many coasters out there do you go around 3 times on? That's exactly my point. It's amazing as you go around those turns. Really take your time. It's a spiritual experience. If you don't rank Fiesta Express this highly, you're an idiot. Go big or go home. This coaster is a Giga Chad Alpha Sigma Skippity Toilet Riz. Get out of there, Anthony. You work in editing, not in voice acting. I'm so sorry about that, guys. Let's cut the crap and get to my number 1 coaster. Whirlwind at Waldameer Park. I know Jay's gonna kill me for this one, but I don't care. This coaster is a masterpiece of engineering and design. Shout out to the designers. The brilliant minds behind the scenes really deserve a prize for their ideas that were put into Whirlwind. No, wait, that's not what I meant. That was the description to my actual first place, which is Boomerang at Six Flags Darien Lake. Yes, that Boomerang. That's my favorite coaster of all time. We found it. It's right there. Don't look at me like that. Have you even ridden it? You can't judge a coaster they haven't ridden. Otherwise, how do you know it's not the greatest thing the coaster gods ever brought to this earth? Just go to Six Flags Darien Lake, get your butt on that seat, hold down the shade, and ride the ride in its entirety. And when you are done, exit carefully to your left, go find me, and I want you to tell me that you were correct all along. This is just your average friendly local boomerang. There's literally nothing special about it. But there is something special to this coaster. No more jokes, I promise. Absolutely promise. Steel Vengeance at 0 Point. True, half of all enthusiasts have this as their top coaster pick, but there's certainly a reason for that. It's the largest RMC on this list, and as you can see, I do enjoy RMCs a lot, but Steel Vengeance is so grand. From the little speed hills throughout the ride, the outward bank airtime hill, one of my favorite 2 seconds on any coaster ever, the barrel roll up, the barrel roll down, to lap through the support structure, it's so dreamlike, and I wish I had more time to really take it all in. It's surreal. Everything makes a smile, and everyone riding for the first time is out of breath, tired but triumphant. Steel Vengeance shouldn't be allowed on top 25 coasters. It honestly feels like cheating having it here. It's actually kind of good that the trims are on, because otherwise the ride is too intense and long to do in one sitting. Of course, I am completely open to riding a better coaster. Once I have a bigger budget, I'm very interested in going to more amusement parks. In fact, I don't want Steel Vengeance to remain number 1 forever, because that means it's all downhill from there. I'll always love it, but the quest for a better coaster will accelerate as we travel further into my adulthood. But for now in Triple J Land, Steel Vengeance remains the king of coasters. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed listening to why I have my coasters ranked as I do. The adventure doesn't end here, as we already have been crafting our plans for the 2026 season, where if things go exactly right, I might be able to earn my 200th credit. Let's see how it goes. This video will be outdated eventually, but that's a good thing. It means I'm traveling and experiencing as many roller coasters as I can. I mean, once I ride a particular coaster at Fun Spot Atlanta, you know the one I'm talking about. Sea Serpent! I don't think there's any chance of surpassing that one, but we're just gonna have to see. And until next time, thank you for watching, take care of yourselves, and stay tuned for more Triple J content in the future. Amusement parks and other things too. Alright? Peace!